There we go.
Eclipse classes, I hate those things.
They work, I guess. I'm not blind yet, so.
That's true. They work for me.
That's the key word.
That was the lamest thing I've ever done.
It was funny, man. I had a buddy that was over here, and he was just, because basically we're like, well, yeah, it's dimmed a little bit, and I went inside, and they're like, okay, Hopkinsville, like it's the total, whatever it is, the zero center of everything, and I went outside, and I was like, yeah, this is it. And he goes, this is bullshit.
I came home for work to like watch it with my kids, and I was like, that was dumb.
Yeah.
So like it would have just looked like any other day if you'd had
like,
no idea.
Yeah, it's like a squall line storm came in for like 2 minutes. That's what it felt like.
Was Kentucky in the totality or whatever they call it? Did you guys get the full thing?
Here in Louisville was what, 95%, 96%, something like that.
Yeah. And Hopkinsville, which is like what, 80, 100 miles southwest of us, is where it got like 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard the 100% was a big difference, but I'm out here in Florida. You didn't get anything. You couldn't even tell.
Well, yeah, 95 max is not cool. I can't imagine the other 5% being that much better, but maybe.
Hey, I'm in the Tampa Bay area, Blake.
Okay. Yeah, we had cloud coverage for like the entire time on ours as well in Jacksonville. So
yeah, exactly.
Like, well, I think this was just a good reason for everyone to try to get off work and go outside.
There's people like tailgating in neighborhoods. When I was like doing yards, really? I was like, they had tents set up with coolers and like, I'm like, what the hell?
It's a big deal to a lot of people.
I know.
I don't know if somebody saw, but like on a Strong Water showcase, somebody said paying $200 for Eclipse classes when it's cloudy might be as strong the equivalent of paying $300 for a BMH NAS.
Pretty close.
Oh man. Is there a link to the chat from YouTube?
Sorry, yeah, let me get that for you.
Cool.
Can you guys hear me now?
We sure can.
Yep.
Once this finishes, I'm going to reboot my wireless and then I'll come back. But in the meantime, I want to show you guys something. I was trying to get this loaded up while you guys were talking about the Eclipse, but hang on, let me find where this bitch at? I just think this is hilarious. Hold on, let's see.
The Eclipse today remind me of Carrie's head right now by that light, moving.
Just
right.
Okay, hang on.
That was better than the real thing.
Yeah.
Can y'all see that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I saw that picture you posted.
Start talking.
Oh, yep.
That's hilarious, man. That's exactly what it was like for us today at school. We're all like, all right, so is this where it gets dark, or what happens now? Like, what's going on? Really? Not like 90? So somebody said like 97.5% was what we were in. And like, I really think they need to rework those percentages, because at 97.5%, it was still bright enough outside that you're like, really? Like what?
That was it?
99% look like.
Just shows you how good 3% still actually is then.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
All right. I'm trying to think of a more disappointing moment in my life, and I can't.
Set my wireless. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. Go set your wireless. So real quick before we get going, just to let you all know. So Maxwell is our guy in the middle right here with the white headphones. So he's our
welcome.
Our guest stand-in.
Welcome.
Cheers, gentlemen.
I will kind of, I won't introduce him, but I'll say like why he's on. We're trying to take some of the suggestions we got from our giveaway that we're doing, which was we want to see more. They said we want to see more community participation instead of the same guys all the time. So I said, well, if somebody can't make it, then I think that's probably we'll pull in a substitute and throw in a relief pitcher or hitter or whatever we got to do.
I can be your relief.
Is that Maxwell Christie?
That's me.
Okay, old Superfly Bourbon. All right, just putting
you know.
here. Okay.
Yeah, there we go. I'm starting out. I'm no bourboner with 20,000 followers.
Baby
Neither
steps.
am I. I just
yeah, I followed your release map and got a Weller Special Reserve.
Yeah. You gotta wait to start throwing those out there once the film starts rolling. Then you can start throwing the bourboner jabs. That's
We're gonna give about 1 more minute to Kerry to jump back on from restarting his router, and then we will get this thing rocking.
Awesome.
I was really close to pouring rum after I've been reading Rum Curious for tonight, but I said I can't do it just yet. That may be the second pour of the night, but for now, I'll stick with bourbon.
Yeah, we'll
kind of rum
good choice.
I picked up actually a couple. Did
you pick up one of those? The Mount Gay heads are here.
Yeah, I have.
Did you get one of those 4 squares from ABC?
No, did they get some in?
Yeah, they got a lot, dude.
Really? No, I haven't.
It was like 6-year bourbon barrel, 3-year port finish or something. I forget what they called it, but the
2006.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
2004.
Not sure on the year.
Hello.
But I know a lot of people were talking about it being really good, and I know there's some sitting at my ABC right now.
Really? Okay, I'm gonna have to go over there tomorrow. Yeah, I picked this one up, the one that what was the other one? Shoot, I picked one called Richland. I was going to Alabama this weekend and just happened to see the sign on the side of the road. Am I breaking up, or is that y'all?
I think that's you. That's you, buddy.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
So,
tell the kid to get off the iPad.
It's this new HD camera. It's just too much Blake.
Yeah, I can.
Now he's frozen. Oh, there he goes.
Too much Blake.
All right. Well, so much for 1 more minute. Now we just lost. We lost 20% of the round table right there. So this might be a quick one tonight, then, if that's how it's going to be.
Yeah, come on, guys. I'm the newbie.
I guess it's the Eclipse effect on everybody's Wi-Fi.
All right. We got one back. All right. I think we're just going to go ahead and start, and then once Kerry gets here, we'll deal with that. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Sounds good.
Let me look.
Roger that.
See how much battery life I got. It says 72%. I think that'll get me through enough here. Okay. All right. Welcome back to the episode of the Bourbon Pursuit Podcast. We are here again with the 11th edition of the Bourbon Community Roundtable. It is a fan favorite, a crowd favorite, and we're going to do something a little bit different tonight. We've got a special guest on, but Ryan, how are you, man? I want to introduce Ryan as well. I always end up in here talking and blabbing away, and then we start going around the horn. I totally forget to let Ryan chime in.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm not that cool anyways. I don't have a bunch of bourbon bottles behind me, so I'm not that cool.
it's you gotta set
trying to outshine you. What's that about? I mean,
I know.
It just steals mic time, gets better lighting.
Well, you gotta really, you gotta set the scene. You gotta really set the mood, and I think, I think for everybody that's gonna be watching us live tonight, we're up to 35 viewers already. We got some good chat rolling through, so I think it'll be a great night. So, as usual,
it's been a great day. Eclipse Day.
Well, I want to talk about the Eclipse Day here in a second after we go around here because it was different. Oh, well, we got one back here, so we're already starting the recording, Kerry. So we'll sit here and clue you in here in a second. But the what I wanted to do is I wanted to introduce a new person here to the round table tonight. So I put out we got a giveaway going right now on the Bourbon Pursuit Facebook group or the Facebook page, and you get the opportunity to take home this bottle of Russell's Reserve that's got Ryan and our pretty faces on here with Jimmy Russell, Ed Bly, Cork and Bottle, Reed and Emerald in 1789B, Nick DeCaos of Bourbon Mafia. It was we did a lot of good barrel picks, and the only way you can win
remember any of them.
it was a very 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 hazy day. That's a good way to put it. And the only way you can win it is, well, you got to be entered. And to enter, you have to comment and say, what's a topic of discussion that you want us to do? Or who do you want us to interview as a part of the podcast? And we're taking these as serious suggestions. And I had quite a few people that said, we need to have some more community in the community roundtables. And so Brian couldn't make it today. So I said, well, let's find our relief pitcher or whoever we can to bring in. So I put it out there. And Maxwell responded back within sub 4 minutes, and so he was our guest today. So Max, I want to let you go ahead and introduce yourselves to everybody here in the bourbon realm who doesn't know you already.
Hey guys, like you said, my name is Max. I run Superfly Bourbon Club with my best friend Mike. I'm out in Florida. He's out in California, so we kind of. Not as serious as some of the other ones. We just kind of talk about what we like, what we can get, some reviews, some recipes. I'm also big in the Tampa Bay Whiskey Society. We get together, have some drinks. If you're in the area, let us know.
We're pretty serious here, so I don't know if you'll fit in.
Oh yeah, I don't know, man. I don't have quite as many bottles behind me as Kenny. So.
Exactly.
There's no joking going on around here. Let's put our serious faces on. Right?
Yeah, I'm so sorry, I forgot.
I'm just fucking. All right, so with that, let's go ahead. We'll go around the horn here and start off with Blake.
I'm Blake from Bourboner.com. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of the above. Bourboner.com, BOURBONR.
You look really good tonight with the clear video.
That's 1080 high def, my friend, coming at you live and clear on a new camera.
I'm liking it.
I imagine the viewership will go way up after this one once they see me in high def.
Oh yeah.
Jordan, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going, guys? So this is Jordan from Breaking Bourbon. I'm one of the 3 guys who does BreakingBourbon.com. You can catch us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon at Breaking Bourbon. News, articles, releases, and of course our upcoming calendars.
And Carrie, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, man. I don't know what the deal is, dude. Tonight I've reset everything in my house, and I still have horrible reception. So I'm going to try to get this working. This is Carrie from Suburbia, SUBOURBIA.com. You can find me on Twitter and the Facebooks on the Bourbon R Facebook group. It's where I usually hang out all day long. And yeah, follow me on my blog, especially when I have good bandwidth. Thanks.
That's why he hasn't put any new articles recently. Yeah. He's on this dial-up 56K and barely get that text. Barely get that
calling you.
He was asking if this was an AOL chat room. I said no, Carrie. It's a little different from the chat room days.
Like ICQ.
So should I join Patreon just so I can pay for better internet?
Yeah, all you need is an extra like $10 a month, man. That's all you need. All right. So first topic. Today is we'll be putting this out on Thursday. However, today was the Eclipse. Was anybody drinking during the Eclipse? Or was we kind of talked about before we started recording here? Was everybody else pretty underwhelmed that wasn't like in the zero totality phase?
I don't know about you guys, but I took all my Pappies, all my BTACs, and had like the Eclipse just like bless them. So that just increased the whole bourbon collection right there.
Dude, those are probably worth more now.
I'm waiting. Who's gonna have the first Eclipse whiskey? They had 100%.
Wyoming. I think Wyoming whiskey was coming out with an Eclipse whiskey, weren't they?
Smart.
Weren't they? Yeah.
Oh, it's coming. Isn't there already an Eclipse rum or?
I know there's an Eclipse moonshine.
There's Eclipse chewing gum. That's all I know.
Give it a couple months and we'll have that special edition from Beam, finished on the barrel on the day of the Eclipse.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm surprised he said Beam. I think I saw.
It'd be Jefferson's Reserve. He'll take it on a boat and be like, "Oh, it was."
There you go.
That was a lot of people's guesses on the forums. Was it's got to be a new Jefferson's. It's going to be the Eclipse release.
Oh, for sure. I saw on some forum they're trying to do something with SpaceX and send something up into space.
Oh, jeez. Wasn't there a Scotch that had a space-aged whiskey?
There's a Japanese whiskey that's on the space station.
Okay. Is it in a barrel?
Is what? I think it's Nikia or something.
In a barrel?
Yeah, there was a beer too. They did that. They sent just the yeast into space and then made the beer out of it.
And the difference was.
Yeah, I'm not paying $30 for a single beer.
Yeah, it's it's kind of funny. And I guess I'll ask you all, like, you talk to some of the master distillers, and they have a funny way of always phrasing things, because we ourselves, a lot of us, we love Dusties, we love these old bottles. However, most of these guys, they always say the best bourbon is yet to be made. And when people are saying we're aging stuff in space, you're like, oh Jesus, like seriously, like this is what we're getting, like this is what it's coming to at this point.
This is our future. Yeah, unfortunately, I think so. It's who can come up with the most clever way of aging or processing or something else.
Because Jefferson's used every trick, though, right? There's not a whole lot left.
They have to.
No, they've got plenty.
The Doug Blonde one is the
I'm
most.
waiting for like Jefferson's deep ocean aging, because that's coming.
Oh yeah, just put it in a submarine and just sink that bitch for like 3 months.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
Jefferson's
that's the point when we know it's over. When every shelf is just filled with like alternative forms of bourbon, then we know at least we're in the clear. Like, I actually root for that, because then we know that nobody gives a shit about bourbon anymore, because it's all gone to hell at that point.
Like, so is this the comic book section, or is this the bourbon aisle of the store?
Yeah.
Right next to flavored vodka. You'll find it right over there.
Yeah, I think we're gonna save like the whole flavored whiskey topic for another day, because we've been a little light on bourbon news, but the only real news that's come to light recently is the release of the 2017 Old Forester Birthday Edition. It's something that comes out every single year. Here's some text that came from the press release. The barrel selection was drawn from 12-year-old barrels, as usual, because Old Forester Birthday is always 12 years old. Different warehouses and floors. 93 barrels mature together on the 4th floor of the G warehouse, eating an extremely spicy forward expression. The remaining 27 were matured together on the 5th floor of the K warehouse, contributing and rounding the sweetness of the blend. What else did it say? Several of the barrels were, basked in the sun, highlighting the effects of maturation along an external wall of Old Forester's heated cycled warehouses. The 2017 Old Forester Birthday will be on the shelves with a suggested retail price of $79.99. Florida and Georgia, so sorry you fellas in Florida, will only receive the 95.4 proof expression, and the remaining states will receive the 96 proof expression, while here in Kentucky, we're the only state that get both. So, fellas, thoughts so far on the 2017 Old Forester Birthday?
So the different proofs is interesting, and I asked the PR lady to explain what happened, and I guess she put it in the press release notes, something about
there's a Q&A,
as they began to bottle it. I still don't understand what it means, but Georgia is one of the two. Blake and I are in the 95.4% state, so
hey, I'm right there with you.
We're gonna get all the bottles here, and we will trade you guys 1 for 2 for the rest.
Yeah, we're getting the rare ones.
Yeah, from what I heard, it's twice as good at the lower proof.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So what did she say? So it was that they started bottling?
I'll pull it up. It was something like,
it was when that does happen a fairly good bit. I thought it was just 2 different batches.
So off my memory, what happened was when they were transferring it over, it was losing some of the vapors. Therefore, some of the alcohol dissipated. And it wasn't all bottled in one run, from what I understand. So that's why you have a little bit less.
What's the TTB law about proof in the bottle having to match what's on the bottle? It isn't like
it can be less.
There's a variance allowed.
Yeah. So I'm guessing they just fell outside of that variance.
This is what oh my God, whose dog is it?
Yeah.
Thank you, Blake.
It's the 1080p.
He's got dogs and babies and lions and bears all in that background. So what Brown Foreman said is, as we were in the bottling process, the proof dropped. When alcohol is exposed to air, some of the vapors escaped. Since we had already dumped all the barrels into the tank, there was no way to raise the proof back up to 96 that we started with.
Somebody pressed the wrong button.
The remaining batch had to be bottled at the lower proof. It was decided that most states only receive one version. Florida and Georgia got a nice size allotment, but they will receive the 95.4 offering. So that didn't make a nice sized allotment. Does that mean that you gave the smallest allotment even though it's nice sized, like.
Well, if you also read in the PR, it also says that this is their largest release of Old Forester birthday bourbon ever, too.
Yeah, they did put the case number on there. Like how much we'll be getting.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, they put it on there. It wasn't on you had to go into the press notes, but it said, I'll look for it, but it said the number of cases that are coming.
All right, so let's be honest here, right? So we talked about it. I think this is, other than the Al Young bottle, right? Like this is like the second bottle of the hyped up season or whatever it is.
No.
However, Jordan, kind of give me your thoughts on what you've thought of like previous years of Old Forester birthday, because for me,
this is like a love. I have a love hate with this line, right? I used to really love it, and I think I like stocked up with the 11 and 12s. I think it's some of the best bourbon they've made, right? And it's all been okay. Some have been really good. Some have been okay since. But I think two things that really irk me. One is the price and I'm glad to hear the price held, but like the price just keeps going up and up and up on this to the point where now, I'm expecting this to be the same price as BTAC pretty soon, which is ridiculous because I mean, it's good, but it's not great. And then the other thing, and this is like a nitpick, but I always review this line every year for us, and I always talk about it, and it's true. As cool as the bottles look, God damn, are they a pain in the ass to stock in your bar because they take up so much space. And I'm just like, oh man, it's just such a pain in the butt.
You're so right about that. You can only keep one. Okay, so, wow. So it looks like this is like a 19,000 bottle release.
Yeah,
holy
it's
cow.
limited. Okay. There's a lot. By
Taking
the way,
notes from.
That's like I think it's normally around like 12,000 a release for the most part.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah, like I said, this is
like Knob Creek 15.
This is a big one.
Knob Creek, and they're limited.
Do you think it'll finally sit on shelves? I just feel like it keeps.
It will if I find
not
it.
At all.
Yeah, no, it's
growing and I don't get it at all. But I still, even at 20, what was it, 19 or 20,000 bottles?
20,000 bottles.
20,000 bottles. I still think it'll probably fly off at $80.
It'll sell.
It's the whole conundrum of if you make anything limited release, it's going to sell out, right? If this was like, if 1920, right? If their Old Forester 1920 bourbon was a limited release, it'd be gone instantly. But because it's available year round, it sits. People are like, oh, I can get it. I don't need to hoard it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if they did the same thing, they would sit year round. It really would.
Yeah, even though it's much better, the 1920 or whatever is so much better than any of the birthdays I've ever had.
That's my favorite thing from that distillery is that 1920.
Yeah, that's one of the few ones I do like. I've just never been a huge.
The birthday is always just yawn. They come out. I'm like, oh, who cares?
Yeah. The birthday is
I'll try it at a bar.
Decent. Yeah, but for $80 or $75, whatever it is now,
for $80.
I'll let everyone else have my bottle. But let's be honest, I'll buy a bottle if I see it, and at least that one, so I can continue the line.
I mean, if it happens to fall in your lap, you can't just leave it there.
I'm not gonna lie. Have September, whatever it is,
trade bait.
comes out, I'll probably have one up on my Instagram. So just want to throw that out there as clarification, so I don't get that comment. Hey, I thought you weren't gonna buy a bottle this year.
So Jeremy Kendrick said, even if it was $150, it probably still wouldn't sit on the shelves. Like everybody's still going to buy it up, right? It's just the way it is. I think in this the market the way it is.
Sorry to cut you off. I have water pouring into my basement right now, so I'm gonna.
Whoa!
Wow, is it a bad day for you, Gary? Holy cow!
We'll catch you guys a little later, possibly.
That goddamn Eclipse. I'm sorry.
Hey, good luck to you, man. I've been there.
All right. One man down. So
hold on, he was saying that's more important than the Bourbon Roundtable?
Yeah, well, we'll remember that for next time.
I'm gonna reovaluate him.
Priorities.
To send somebody out. We got a new left field now. Yeah. So the other question actually I'll say a funny comment. I was talking to somebody about the release of Old Forester birthday, and they were like, I never buy it. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean you never buy it? You've been into bourbon forever. He's like, yeah, it looks like a butt plug. I don't want that thing sitting on my shelf. Which I don't know. I see the bottle and I think like it's really cool. It's a good throwback to
that and the pot still model.
Yeah, it's unique. No other bottle looks like that.
Yeah. So I think the uniqueness of the bottle is something that just everybody wants to have, and the fact that bourbon is booming the way it is, there's no shortage of that, sitting on the shelf. It's going to happen. What really is going to irk me is that here in Kentucky, I mean, not irk me, it's just the nature of what it is. But here in Kentucky, there's going to be people are going to be waiting in lines to be camping out. Like it's going to be run. How fast can you get to the store? And then there's just going to be somebody in Michigan that's got like, oh, I'm here at Costco. They got like 40 on the shelves, right?
Costco.
That's the truth.
I mean, it's going to happen, right? And so that's always one of the things I'm just like, oh God, it's one of these things that I'm going to have to bust my butt to get a bottle. And then, somebody's just going to run into 40 of them.
As soon as those Liquor Barn emails go out, the chairs get set up. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
And at least it's getting distributed though in some parts. So Nick and Eric, who are in New York, they haven't got a birthday bourbon in the last 2 years, I think. Like the distributors just don't drop in that state, which is rough.
Well,
not even because it's great bourbon, but it's just they don't even have an opportunity to like decide if they want to get a bottle or not, right? It's just, nope, you're not going to have a chance.
I at least want the chance to say, no, I didn't want it this year.
Right?
So
exactly. That's it.
Don't hold that back from me. Yeah.
Well, hopefully that Patreon campaign is going well for you guys, that they can go ahead and just buy themselves a whole vertical birthday bourbon.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's one bottle that always, whenever it pops up on the secondary, you're like, wow, it's just even 2016 is still climbing, right? I think I saw one today go for $250. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I think,
although I did like the 16. I like that more than the last couple of years.
Not 250, fine.
Yeah, no, I'll take 1920.
Everybody's in agreement though. Like 2013 is the best that there was, and for the Old Forester birthday. I mean, I've heard Chris Moore say that out of his own mouth. So,
yeah, I would say it's definitely the best. I actually stocked up on those, and then was like, I still don't love it that much. And I think I traded one bottle for like a old label Wild Turkey 101 rye, and like sold another bottle for $75. And I'm like, shoot, I should have just held on to them. I could have done a whole lot better than
So while we're on the topic of Old Forester, has anybody, and I guess this is also on the side of gimmicks, right? The Statesman, right? Around here, people just went batshit over it. I didn't care, but it's flying off the shelves. But now it's kind of restocked. I think it's going to be a continual thing. You guys seen it in the other, your parts of the country as well? The Old Forester Statesman release.
That the Halle Berry bourbon.
Yeah, the little chug video.
Yeah, I remember that. I still don't think she actually chugged the whole thing. If she did, I don't know. Then I have a newfound respect for it, but it had to be.
Yeah, she got a little hotter if it was real.
Yeah, I mean it. Yeah, Channing Tatum pouring it for her too. So I mean, all the stars were aligned right there, right? It should have been working, but I mean, are you guys?
City.
Do you guys actually see it like in your parts of the country? Because around here, it's on the shelves, off the shelves pretty quickly.
It's in Florida. I can find it relatively easy.
Yeah, I saw it today. I didn't see it. I didn't get a bottle.
It's only $2 less than 1920. I'm like, I'd just rather have 1920.
Yeah, what's the? I to be honest, I haven't even read like the specs on it. What's the, aside from it being for what it was for that movie, right? It's
for the movie. I believe it's 95 proof is the proof on it.
Statement, just hey, we did this since 95 proof.
Pretty much.
That's all I know, man.
I'm kind of worried about that movie. I think that's going to make the hype even bigger because Hollywood is going to go in and they're doing that whole movie about these secret undercover whiskey distillers. Like they're going to go in and Hollywoodize Kentucky bourbon.
Oh, geez, here we go.
I think that's already memorized enough.
Yeah. So does that mean we could get some more famous guests on the show? Is that what you're trying to tell us? We
Matthew McConaughey next time.
McConaughey maybe next time.
Mila Kunis for sure. It's got to be.
We're gonna have to chain.
I'll have my PR person reach out to him.
Yeah. I haven't seen Statesman in New York or PA. Although I was in Louisville around Derby time when it dropped. It was one of those things where I didn't even go out to the stores to get it because I was like, yeah, it's just not for the price. I just don't see the appeal. I don't know. I haven't had it yet, so maybe it's phenomenal, but I haven't been reading like phenomenal things about it.
No. Somebody on here said that it's been killing it in their bar, but I haven't had it. I see it everywhere, and it's a hard pass for me. I'm not a big Brown and Foreman guy.
Yeah.
No. So just to clarify, none of us have tried it yet?
No, I think we just went 0 for 5 right there. So
nope.
If anybody on the chat wants to chime in, if they've tried it and they say it's better and or worse than 1920, or if you have anything that's comparable, then feel free to please let us know.
Michael tried it. He was not a fan.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there we go. We got one person. The other person said that I enjoyed the Statesman, but not good as 1920. So
it's gonna be hard for them because 1920 they released, and it's like the best thing they've released ever, and everything else just is going to be compared to that. And you can get it easily, and it's priced easily.
Yep,
for sure.
It's like they're shooting themselves in the foot with it, but.
Well, I mean, I think it's also one of those. I don't know. It's called like the choice problem, right? If you have the option of too many choices, then you end up spending. You make more wrong choices than you do if you only had a subset. So I don't know. I can see that they're trying to expand their footprint. They're trying to put more different bottles on the shelves. I mean, I know that there's another. They had the pre-pro, or they had the 1920. They had another one before then, and I know they have another one coming out after that here again in a few months, either beginning of 2018 or here sometime in the fall, right? So they're definitely trying to expand their footprint, or at least their shelf space of what they're doing.
Yeah, it's just funny. It was a brand like that they didn't even care about, and now they're like, "Oh, we love it. Here's everything."
Hey, they got me with that release. I was never an Old Forester person. My buddy's a big fan. He's always sending me samples, and I'm just like, and then I tried 1920, and now I'm like, hey, I might buy some more of this.
They're like, Old Forester's crap. Try our Woodford. It's much better. Oh wait, now try our Old Forester.
Just kidding. We have a whole new series and lineup with 12 different releases from different years. You're gonna love it.
Yep.
I mean, I'll play devil's advocate. I kind of got into bourbon by drinking Old Forester. Like Old Foe was my go-to. So it's still kind of holds a special place for me. But all right, I think we've harped on the Old Forester. So let's move on a little bit. So this was a subject that was brought up by one of the admins in one of the groups, and I'll kind of save his name just in case next time he wants to join us or wants to talk about it. But he said, when someone repackages another company's actual product, that's called a private label branding or generics. Most of the times, these private labels are the same or slightly modified versions of the real thing, and they sell at a significant discount. So think of all those things when you go to Kroger or Walgreens or whatever, and you see those unbranded or Walgreens versions of Tylenol or whatever it is, right? However, for some reason, or Costco.
Kirkland bourbon. Yep.
Yeah. So, but for some reason, when it comes to bourbon and rye, these private label companies sell at significantly higher prices than the real thing. However, everybody just seems fine with that. I think it's a pretty funny argument, right? Because I think the flip side of it is that we know that there is a bigger increase in the amount of cash that it takes to be able to acquire a barrel from MGP or from somebody else now. And so you have to be able to sell it at a higher price to be able to make up whatever cost is coming out of it. However, I don't know exactly what their delta is to say, like, actually say, I don't know what their break even is. Maybe one of you finance guys have any sort of clue, but I don't know what that break even price would be for a barrel. So therefore, when you sit there and you say, I'm going to source a barrel of Four Roses or something like that, well, Four Roses just sitting on inventory, and they could sell it, at a pretty good profit margin for what they paid for it. However, for you to be able to make your money back on it plus some, you got to sell it for quite a bit higher. However, it's just funny, when you go to the store and you see, oh shit, we'll take Total Wine, and you got 2-star that's sitting right next to like Barton, right? It's the same exact stuff. However, like 2-star is a house brand. It's not super expensive, but it's a different label, right? So I guess the question to you all is, it's like,
we're all waiting.
I was like, where's he going with this? So
it's a very long entry. I wasn't sure we were supposed to jump in. We were supposed to just let him go.
Yeah. So I guess I'll kind of turn over to you guys, right? Like, so what are your thoughts on the sourcing and the prices that end up coming out of this, and is it justifiable?
Yeah, I mean, I get what he's saying, and he is correct in the sense that people are overpaying for certain things. I think he even went and said, most distillery has a 6 to 10 year bourbon out. So why are people paying these higher prices for repackaged 6 to 10 year bourbons? I think it's not a valid comparison to say, like Advil and Walmart version of ibuprofen is the same thing. because there is some difference. There is taste difference between each barrel. So the barrels they get can taste different. They can also let them age longer, do some different cask finishings, which is a whole nother topic I think he had issues with as well. But so there is some, but as long as the buyer is aware of what's going on and they want to try a product from that distillery or from that NDP, I don't see a problem with it. You're going to pay a little more because there is that next layer in the chain. They're buying from a distillery, then they need a profit margin. So I don't have a problem with it. Just make sure you know what you're buying is the biggest thing. Because like a lot of these big brands, they're not going to release like true small batches, maybe 15 to 20 barrels. They're going to do it at dump 400 barrels together. So you do get a different flavor profile. So there is some difference there, but whether or not that's worth an additional $50-$60, probably not, but it's the consumer's choice. So.
Okay. I'll throw another question at you. Maybe Jordan or Max, you can chime in on this. So if you want to be a smart consumer, how do you know? Like if I want to go to the store and look at a bottle and say like, oh, is this coming from where I know it's coming from, or is this a source thing? Like, well, how do I know?
I think, I think you should go to your favorite bourbon websites, right? Go to Breaking Bourbon, go to Bourbon Art, go to those places, right? Listen to your podcast, stuff like that. But it does take a little bit of sleuthing, right? To find out if it's made, you got to really become good at reading labels and figuring out who's distilling it, who's producing it, et cetera. And there's playing that game. And it comes back a little bit to what Blake said too, right? So it's once you do find out, okay, so this person's not producing it, read reviews on it. And there's going to be those non-distiller producers who sometimes you just trust, right? John Little from Smooth Ambler, when they were doing their source stuff, right? Any single barrel rye, I'm going to buy it, right? No doubt. I'm just going to buy it because I know it's going to be great. And we're kind of experiencing that a lot with, we talk about barrel bourbon and Breaking Bourbon a lot. And that's because it's just really damn good bourbon, right? Like Joe over a barrel really blends really well. So I can almost guarantee when friends ask me, oh, what about this? Without even tasting that batch, I'm going to say, go buy it. It's probably going to be good, right? But if it's just a no name, that I haven't heard before, who knows? It's all about the person picking it. And you really have to build that reputation and try stuff usually at a bar first before buying a bottle if you're not familiar with the NDP.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. I think it was Ryan actually who said many times it's just all FOMO. People see this bottle like, wait, I've never seen this before. What is this? Oh, I have to buy 6 of them. What if it's the next Kentucky Owl and it's going to be the greatest thing in the world? Like people just don't know. And nowadays, we all know there's an influx of people running to the store, buying whatever, as many as they can, buying cases of this and cases of that. And if you don't know, if it says Spirits Direct at Total Wine, you should probably not buy
that. Okay, so there's one clue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also, we've talked about it before, is you got to get educated on DSPs. And if you find a bottle and it doesn't list a DSP, there's your first, I won't say red flag, but there's your first hint that there is it is not coming. You don't know where it's coming from. You don't know the truth about it or anything like that, right? The other thing I kind of want to throw at you, Jordan. You brought up Joe from Barrel, and we love Joe. Joe's a great guest of the podcast. I know he listens to this a lot too. What he's doing though is he's definitely sourcing, but he's also selling it at $80 to $100 a piece, no matter different parts of the country, right? So yeah, it's definitely very pricey when you could say like, okay, well, I could go get pick any other blend I have on the shelf behind me for half as much, right?
Yeah, but it's also barrel
for sure.
It's also barrel proof though too, so you got to think.
That's true. That's not common.
It's barrel proof. It's limited batches, and usually what's just surprising is it really is usually good, right? And it's funny. So. And I know, we also have a good relationship with Joe. He's a great guy. And I was, up until the last few releases, just always really skeptical. I'm like, you can only go so far with this. There's going to be a miss. But there just hasn't been a miss yet. Which is really, really surprising for me. I mean, he's just blending really good. And it's one bourbon line that I kind of slowed down on stocking up on a lot of stuff. But this is one line I stock up on because I'm like, this is actually legitimately good barrel proof bourbon. And you just don't see that too often. So. Yeah, it's been great.
But same thing, you've heard of it. You've heard of that. You've heard of Smooth Ambler. You've heard of High West. The people that are doing
those guys
right,
bubbled up to the top.
Yeah, you know them. I don't know these
exactly.
other, random whiskey with 2-star, all this other stuff that's out there.
Yeah, there's no shortage of it. But this kind of actually flows into our next topic conversation. This was a question that Vlad, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name here, Belchinski. So he asked, and he said, I'd like to see a discussion about, it could be barrel that we're talking about right now. It could be store picks. And why does really someone else's opinion of one barrel drive the price up over a standard release? When we look and see what happened with barrel, say batch 11, right? San Francisco spirits competition, #1 best in bourbon, and it's gone, right? Like it's super, super hard to find. However, I've seen batch 6, I've seen batch 7, I've seen batch 12 still out there, right? So, we can tell that that's a Fred Minnick effect. However, what do you think is the social impact that it has of when you read one person's review that this special barrel or this bottle is better than say a regular release or something like that? Or
people like confirmation. They want somebody to they want to feel good about their purchases no matter what it is. That's why Amazon reviews work. The Oprah
have you ever been on
this
Facebook page called Bourboner?
Yeah, it's like you want it when you're buying.
Is this good?
Is this good? Eagle Rare 10-year. Is this good? Elijah Craig.
I think I love when Blake makes fun of his own fans here. That's great.
No, I mean, we've all been there. Like, I do it now with rum. I'm like, is this Mount Gay rum good? So, I don't care. It's just part of being new to something. But we can all joke about it.
We've all been there.
No, I think Ryan's totally right. There's a lot of, you want that confirmation bias. You want, especially when you're talking, I'm going to drop $100 on something I never had before, or it ties back to FOMO, right? Not only am I going to drop $100, but then I'm going to regret not having it. Yeah, all right, I trust this opinion. Let me go out and get a bottle or two. And guess what? Just because of that, it's probably going to taste a lot better to you, even if you didn't like it, right? It's one of those things where
it's the stories we tell ourselves. It's like
exactly.
Oh,
you gotta
this whiskey writer said it was good. It's got to be good,
Right? Yeah.
That's why blind taste testing is the most fun thing ever. Because I always throw in Heaven Hill 6-year or Henry McKenna, and it always comes in second or third because it's just a good, great bourbon, and there's no confirmation bias out there.
Yeah, there's all kinds of studies in wine where people automatically assume that higher price means higher quality, and it's just our mindset. If you drop $60 on a bottle of bourbon, you don't want to be wrong. If you drop $200, you really don't want to be wrong about it not being that good. So, it's just natural. But as Ryan said, you got to taste it blind to really figure out what you like and don't like.
Because buying the wrong bottle sucks. Like when I bought my William Heaven Hill 15, it felt like the total Eclipse today. Like the letdown was comparable, And so I wish I would sat on that bottle longer and let people reviewed it to where I knew. But I'm too excited when I get new bottles that I'm like, I got to try it now. But anyways,
I would think that the brand that you see the worst out of this is when you look at any form, it's got to be Willet, right? When people say oh, this barrel 14-year, whatever barrel number tastes like peanut butter, tastes like waffles, or it's got cherries, or it's dark brown sugar, whatever, right? It's the worst, right? Because
you have no idea.
Kenny doesn't like Willets, does he? Back left corner.
Well, right? So Max and I were talking before everybody else joined here, and I had a bottle right behind me. It had a red sticker on it, and we actually took it to a blind tasting. And it was about 7 or 8 different 14-year Willets. We all line them up side by side. And I'm sitting here drinking through it. I'm at number 4, and I'm like, when are these going to start tasting good? Honestly, they were all horrible. I don't know what it was. Maybe my palate was off that day, but I just didn't like a single one. And I wasn't alone too. Some other people thought the same exact thing. So it's just one of those things that even some of those barrels were ones that people go ape shit about on some of the forums. I'm just like, I don't see it, right? However, I think it's if you have that confirmation bias, and I think Ryan, you said it best, man. Amazon reviews, that's what sells. People love that affirmation that what they have is good, or whatever it is.
Yep.
So another question. So I guess another question is there a bottle that you all have had that had like stellar reviews, and then you tried it and you said like, nope, not happening, not for me?
Absolutely. I'm gonna cut back right here, and I don't want to offend anybody, so I'm gonna say that right now.
Go for it. Go
Barrel Bourbon Batch 11.
That didn't take too long.
180.
Right in my head. It jumped right in my head. My buddy Mike.
Somebody cut his mic fast.
Getting kicked out. I'm never back. You guys will never see me again after I said that.
Pull those beats.
A buddy
off.
of mine sent me some blind samples, and I got some Joseph Magnus, some Willits, a couple other things, and one of them was the 11, and I rated that the worst out of all of them. And he told me that was barrel batch, and I was like, oh man. And I still had a little left, a little 2-ounce sample bottle. I had like an ounce left. I went and tried it again. I was just like, you know what? Like it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me.
Marzipan?
I did not taste any marzipan.
What about anybody else on the panel?
Yeah, I think I've had several of those. I'm trying to think back, but there was a few Willits like Kenny where I just didn't like them. But Old Forester birthday bourbon, I know we kind of already hit on that, but that was always that one for me. So I kind of feel bad going back to it, but that one that everybody it'd sell out fast, and people usually liked it, but I just never really liked it. Those are the big ones that stick out for me. What else? Booker's 25th. I hate. No, I'm just kidding. No, that was a joke. But no, those are the ones that really stick out for me. And then there's always like the private barrel that Four Roses that everyone says is their favorite of all time, and then you try it and you're like, no, don't think it's there.
I think for me, and I got a lot of flack, and I stand by it. Was 1792 foolproof? So my review, I did not give it that well regards. And I know a lot of people chimed in saying, oh, like I had this great private pick or this great store pick, etc. And yeah, I've had some great ones too, but like the release straight from the distillery, man, that just not do it for me. And me, Nick, and Eric debated that one for a long time because they really liked it. And I was like, for me, my palate, and that's the whole thing. And that's why you need to read like different review sites, get to know the reviewers, stuff like that. Like for me, that just doesn't do it.
I felt like that about all the 1792s, like the sweet wheat, the port finish.
Yeah, okay.
Like they were just like, I don't see where they're all that great.
But they were affordable though. They were $35-$40.
Yeah,
like it's not like you were breaking the bank on 1792. I mean,
you give them a
value on that one.
It's only yeah.
I'll try it for that. Like that's fine.
Yeah,
I had a couple really good foolproof picks, and I like that it's not chill.
That's the thing. Everyone raves about the private picks. Yeah, like the private picks are good. It's just the standard like distillery release. I'm like, yeah, which is a shame.
I don't think I've ever even had the standard because there's a bunch of store picks near me. So it's like if there's a standard and a store pick, like I'm gonna buy the store pick.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that about all the new Pappies that are not Stitzel-Weller. I don't know. I just feel like they're not that great anymore. But
yeah, I have a 15 lot B I opened, and I mean it's good. But it's I should have flipped it.
Don't you hate that? You're like, crap. I don't. You open it once and you're like, yeah, now I'm gonna have this on my shelf for a while.
Last year, my 20, I opened up a 20 and I was like, man, gosh, I wish I first sip. I was like, that was a mistake.
Could have been a mortgage payment, and instead I had to open it.
Yep, pretty much. That's what FOMO will do to you. You're like, this might be the best ever. We lost our main host.
I was gonna say, did we lose Kenny here? Like, yeah, Ryan. I I guess you're all happy.
Yeah,
step up.
Let the prisoner run the show.
I'm not a good lead man. Kenny always takes the lead.
Which
sit back.
So, guys, Kenny here. Next question of the night is gonna be private picks. Everybody goes crazy for them, and not all private picks are the same. Have you ever had a private pick that somebody loved and that you didn't like?
Man,
I think it really was about private picks.
I think you're totally right. Like on the agenda, that's what it was.
I love private pick. I mean, I've had a few I didn't like, but I don't know.
Rare. Which it is kind of funny, to go off what Max said. if I see on a store shelf, there's a private pick and then there's the regular, Four Roses isn't a good example because it's, the single barrel is just 100 proof or the private pick is barrel proof. But, if it's a full proof and, hey, one's got a store logo on it and one doesn't, I'm going after the one with the small golden sticker on it that says the store name every single time. Same with Eagle Rare 10-year, Blanton's. And it's
and that's especially true if you've
because Bland's is single barrel, so it really shouldn't matter.
But if you find a store and you like the person who's doing their store picks, if you like one or two and you really like align with that person's palate, man, you just found like the jackpot, right? Because basically they're going to be picking some great barrels and you align with their palate, so you're going to start hoarding that stuff. So it's like this is the next best thing towards me picking my own barrel, right?
Oh yeah,
No, I agree.
And I'm lucky enough to do store picks with a buddy of mine's own a liquor store, and it's one of the coolest things I get to do. And some of those picks are like my favorites all time. I mean, of course, I'm picking them out, but they're
Is that Kenny back in here now? Do we
I think so. Can you all hear me?
Welcome.
Yeah, we were just hosting the show. Don't worry.
We had to lead ourselves for a little while. It was crazy.
Our power went out. I lost all the internet. I had to go get my MiFi thing and turn it on. Like our house is still like out of internet right now. So I don't know what the hell just happened.
Yeah,
I know. Damn Eclipse! It's out to ruin this.
It's like flooding Kenny's basement, Carrie's basement, and Kenny's power's off.
Man,
what else
alive.
is next?
So I don't know where you guys continued on.
We're talking about the
store picks.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Good deal. So we'll
when you listen to the podcast, you'll get filled in.
I'll just go ahead and re-listen. I gotta go write these show notes out. I don't even know what happened. So there was one question that came out about from Quinn English, and he said, "I'd like to hear more about distribution and our thoughts of alternatives to the 3-tier system." That's a tricky one because I don't know.
That's a loaded question.
It's a loaded question because of course we're all gonna have opinions. However, it's you can shit in one hand, you can dream in another, and see which one gets filled up first, right?
That's like solving Obamacare or something.
Yeah, it's just something that's we can try. So
I don't want to be responsible for the replacement.
Well, we're not going to let you try to solve Obamacare tonight, Max. But go ahead if you have any ideas on how do you fix a 3-tiered system. And by the way, for anybody that is new to the show or does not know, a 3-tiered system is what we currently all live in, where a distiller, a producer makes a product. You have a distributor who buys it, and then you have the distributor that then sells it to the liquor stores, and the liquor stores then sell it to you. And there's a lot of hands a lot of trading that goes on through there, a lot of handshakes. And once it usually hits a retailer, they own it. They can charge whatever they want for it. That's just how it works. So, Max, any ideas on how you solve this?
Once again, man, this is a complicated problem. Honestly, and I'm not. No, I really don't. I feel like we might all pitch in. Any idea you have is going to have its own caveats. Any solution is going to have its own problems. Say you take out there's just too many moving parts. Like no matter what, especially with bourbon, especially nowadays, since there's so many people that are looking for it, and we're such at this influx right now. No matter what, you're going to have a large portion of people that are unhappy.
Yeah,
it's just supply and demand. The demand's just too high. I don't think there's realistically much that can be done.
I mean, I say this kind of sarcastically, but a little bit of truth, right? If they would fix the shipping laws so you could ship bourbon, give it all to Amazon. They're ready. Then or Amazon and Walmart, let them be the 2 nationwide distributors and just let them distribute it straight to the mail to you. Done. Right? There you go. None of this like haggling with store managers, none of that stuff, no markup. Just let the 2 big boys duke it out, and prices would start coming down.
But then you're going to have everybody with those little bots that go in and just automatically buy things as soon as
I'm not saying it's perfect.
You'd have the Kenny Coleman's of the world freaking.
Necessarily get rid of 3-tier system. I think you just have to loosen it up in some places. Like, I went through this with a private pick I did where We wanted to run it through a store. Everyone was okay with it. You know, the brand was okay with it. But it still had to go get, you know, bump and go on the distributor's loading dock so we could give them their 33% and they could take their margin. Where, you know, if they loosened up a little bit, let the distillery sell more out of their distillery, let them bypass distribution a little bit here and there and ship where they want to ship. I think you just have distributors fighting really hard for their cut, and they do work hard and they promote brands, but in some cases they're just, you know, basically lobbying to have their piece of the pie, and they're not doing a whole lot. So if you could loosen it up where they're not really needed, but they're making themselves needed so they can get their cut, I think that would help. But I just think you're never going to get rid of the 3-tier system, which is okay because, you know, most distilleries don't want to run logistics for 50 states and working with thousands of retailers and that kind of stuff either. But, you know, whenever they want to do something special, it's kind of like with some of these smaller distilleries, some of them are sending it to the distributor who then gives it back to them, who then the distillery can sell it to a customer. Like, that's just stupid. You have to get
blown away by that.
Things. Yeah,
I was having a conversation with Drew, like we were drinking like a 25-year Willet and they're building the bar where they can sell it. And I'm like, man, you're going to make a killing off this. And he's like, well, not really, because we got to sell it back to our distributor, then bring it back. And then
you know, that part is especially silly. Like the gift shops, the distilleries themselves, like that's what always gets me. It's like, it's they made it. Like, again, they got to, I like what Blake said, like don't necessarily dramatically change it, but just loosen up, you know, lean back, like relax. Like not everybody has to have their hands involved.
Yeah, it just blows me away. They get paid to do nothing, where it literally doesn't leave the distillery, and they get their 30%, you know, for.
Yeah, for anybody that doesn't know, that you know, Ryan brings up a really good point there, that it is just so if you ever go to any of these distilleries that sell their own bottles, just know that there is a transfer of paper that happens where the distributor actually gets a cut of no matter what they sell at the gift shop. So it's a crazy thing. And Jeremy Kendrick actually brought up something in the chat here, and he goes, from a bar business side, the 3-tier system sucks. He said most don't actually represent their brands that well, and they don't return the value to their end, or either to their end service. So if the brands knew how poorly they are represented by their distributors, there'd probably be much more uproar in this space. Which I think that's probably a fair assessment, right? But I think from the distributor side, they have a lot of brands that they have to sit there and advocate for or talk about or anything like that. I mean, I don't think any of you all have anything from the side of the retail, but I mean, if the laws were to change, like how do you think that would change in regards of what you're going to see at restaurants or anything like that?
If I was a liquor rep, I would just love to have Fireball as my. I would be pushing that because they sell so much of it, bars and whatnot. I don't know. That's just a side note. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you got rid of some of it, they'd be able to bring in a lot of other products and stuff. You know, with the craft cocktail culture, it's gone crazy. They want to try, you know, I'm sure mixologists would be the first one to try like a Eclipse aged bitters or something because it just sounds cool to throw in a cocktail. So I think it'd open a lot of that up, but you know, I think they're facing the same issues as a lot of retailers when dealing with distributors.
Yeah. This was a loaded question, as Ryan said. So yeah, there's definitely not going to be a right answer because it's honestly, there's nothing we can do. I honestly don't think there could be. You know, it was. I'm a big fan of. There's a show on True TV called Adam Ruins Everything, and he kind of talked about how.
That show.
It's a great show. If anybody has never watched it before, just start from season 1. You'll
what is Adam Ruins Everything?
Adam Ruins Everything.
It's great.
So there's an episode there's an episode he talked about hospitals and how when hospitals were around, if you wanted a Band-Aid, they just charge you like, an extra 10% would actually cost on top of a Band-Aid. And then when healthcare companies stepped in is when all the, everything kind of blew up in regards of how much everything started costing. So it kind of made me think about this question and say really distributors are kind of the big problem here, right? If there was a better system, right? I mean, I think Jordan said it best, right? You've got Walmart and Amazon that are able to use UPS and FedEx and USPS, and they know their logistics so well that they have it figured out. They could deliver to anybody at any time and get it there in less than 12 hours, right? I mean, you have next day whatever shipping, right? So it's
Eclipse strikes again.
Yeah.
Oh man, my power just went out now.
Yeah, the Eclipse takes another one down.
Hey, bad things happen in threes. Everybody says it.
Oh man.
We shut this thing down before somebody gets struck by lightning or something.
Jesus.
All right.
No, but
well,
that is
okay.
true, like what you're saying, like we lose a lot of efficiencies, and even more true in the medical field. Never pay if you're self-pay or out of network. Never pay what they send you in the first bill. That's a side note for the Bourbon Roundtable.
Dang. My daughter just got some tubes, and the bill was really high.
Oh yeah, no, call. That's based on the professional fee schedule. You're not going to pay that.
Perfect.
All right, so we'll wrap it up with one more kind of like last funny question, because I don't think we're ever going to change a 3-tier system. There's nothing we can do about it unless some other people that are way bigger than this roundtable can actually step up and make a change. So
Trump will solve it.
Yeah, right. So John asks, he says, discuss the oh, never mind. What was I looking at here? Sorry. Adam asks this. Adam Kessel, he says, what's the drink that you go to when you're not drinking bourbon? You know, it could have a connection to bourbon, maybe not. Bourbon barrel aged rum, tequila. If you're not drinking bourbon, what are you drinking? And I think we saw this week already that Blake has started to make his shift. So
he's on the rum train.
Yeah, we're gonna have rum R pretty soon.
Yeah, rummer's coming. It's rummer. It's good.
There's a whole nother set of jokes we can pick up then.
Expand upon with. Yeah, I can't read anything new because if it sounds interesting and fun, I'm like, oh, well, I've got to come home with 4 new bottles every single night. But no, I have been getting into rum, which it is really interesting because, we kind of complain about bourbon regulations and, with NDPs, rum, it's like, it's way worse because they're adding,
it's the wild, wild west of this.
They can do whatever they want.
Vanilla, like all this stuff. So, to find true aged and made rum is a lot more difficult because bourbon, basically we know what bourbon is. Rum, when you buy it, you don't know what it is unless you do some research first.
Yeah, their age statements are super weird too.
Yeah, even age statements, it can be the oldest, the maximum number that's in the blend and not the minimum, like for bourbon. A lot of rums they test and the sugar content's high enough to be a liqueur, but it just is labeled as rum. They don't have like a straight rum or a bottled and bond rum. It's just but still makes it fun to jump into a new subject.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm like you. I like the flashy new thing. I'm like, what's new? What's hot? It's part of my ADD. But
yeah,
it's like I get bored with something, then I'm on to the next thing. But I drink rum as well. Fred kind of got us on that when we did a podcast interview. He brought out some good ones, and it's kind of opened a Pandora's box. But I also drink beers. Nothing like that exciting, like Miller Lights when I'm golfing. Pound a bunch of those.
Some high class stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and I do like some red Zinfandel wine with like a big fat ribeye or something. Other than that,
say, Blake, you're a pretty big like Bordeaux guy or something like that too, aren't you?
Yeah, I've heard some wine talk.
He's a whiner.
Ooh, fancy.
Wine R.
Wine R.
Yeah.
To be like winter.
What about you, Jordan? If you're not drinking bourbon, what are you drinking?
Yeah, I do. I actually drink a lot of mezcal. So I'm not gonna lie, it's like 95% of the time I'm drinking bourbon, but then if not, I do like mezcal. So I'm not like a hardcore drinker of it, but yeah, I have a few bottles that I like to
explain to me
grab, and I'll try
mezcal and tequila because I have no idea because I hate tequila.
I'm not really great at it, but it's just the whole like distillation method behind it, right? You get some really good small batch mezcals from just the different regions of Mexico, and
mezcal
to me,
has
like
a worm in it.
Like tequila doesn't do much for me, but mezcal is like I can super flavorful, super smoky, super flavorful. So it's fun to drink.
Isn't there like some other things with tequila has to be pure?
Yeah, and I think, and I'm not an expert on mezcal, right? But I think it's how it's like buried in the ground and smoked out and all this stuff.
That'll be Fred's new book.
I think I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I'll kind of wrap this up for me. I'm a big, I've got a lot of bourbon, as you can see behind me. But the other thing you don't see, which is in the, I've got probably, it's kind of small compared to a lot of people, but I probably got about 30 or 40 different like barrel aged beers I got kind of going on. So barrel aged beers, barrel
dark
bourbon.
stuff.
Oh gosh, if it's 13%, 14%, and it looks like you could stick a fork in it and it would just stay, that's what I like to drink, like super heavy.
Yeah. See, I love beer. I'm the total opposite though. I'm going for those real hoppy IPAs, real light in color, real thin, real juicy and floral. I can't get behind the dark stuff. I want to, just because it's bourbon barrel aged. I feel like I should. I feel like that's what I should be drinking, but it just hasn't clicked yet.
Every time I drink those stouts, I feel like I just went through Golden Corral buffet and I'm just bloated and miserable.
Yeah, it just fill you up. Like you can't drink those. You can have
no, you can't party on those.
I mean, I will say I have to give it to those people that are big beer collectors and they do that because for people that have been doing any kind of the liquor buying for a while, you'll know that, yeah, sure, it gets expensive. However, beer is like super expensive when you start getting into it. And you're paying like anywhere from like $18 to $32 for a beer. And the thing is, like, once you open it, you got to drink it. Like, there's no like sitting around.
Yeah, you got one sitting.
That's the problem. You better have like 4 friends there, or else you're just going to be smashed after one.
Yeah, it's the same way with wine. Like, that's why I hate expensive wines, because you get 4 glasses out of it, and you got to drink it like that night, or it sucks. Whereas bourbon, it can sit on the shelf for however long.
Yeah, you get the lifespan out of bourbon, which is really what I enjoy with that. And then Blake brought it up. I actually bought a bottle of rum this past weekend because I don't know, I got a bug. I had an itch. I actually bought a bottle of the Dorley's 12.
You wanted confirmation bias?
Yeah, I did. You know what? I didn't like it.
Really? I like the Dorleys.
I didn't like it. You can come over and you can. I got the 12-year one, but
was it pretty good?
Well, for me, it's funny. I've had some good rums. When we did a recording with Fred Minnick, which will be coming out here within the next, I think, few weeks. And he gave us some really good rums. However, around here, rum shopping, you look at it, everything. I mean, I would say 98% of it is all 80 proof. That's it. And so there's just nothing there for me. Like I had this Dorley's. I'm just like, I don't know. It's just, there's not enough flavor for me there. It's a little flat.
Right. I brought over.
Yeah, that was good too. Yeah. But I was like, I already had that, so I'll try something different. So I bought the Dorley's, and I just wasn't a fan. So.
Yeah, your palate sucks.
It's all part of training. It's all it is.
Yeah.
So with that, let's go ahead and we'll end it for the night. I want to say, fellas, thank you for coming on again. I will give you one more chance to plug who you are, where you tweet from, where you blog from, and how people can pay you if you accept forms of cash payment.
You may start it off.
Blake, you want to go first?
Yep. Blake at bourboner.com. Always fun to be on the Bourbon Roundtable. One of my favorite things to do. You can find me at bourboner.com or on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, BOURBONR.
Cool. This is Jordan from breakingbourbon.com, one of the 3 guys who runs the site. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon at Breaking Bourbon. Sign up for our newsletter. Check our near daily release calendar updates and all the latest reviews.
Now, they say one of 3 guys. We're still not sure the 3rd one exists. But
like to keep Eric a mystery man. He's all around.
We're going to go ahead and say 3 for now. But, just that 3rd guy, he may be a figment.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are the finance guys. I'm sure it's like a form of tax evasion, what you're trying to figure out.
We split up profit ways. It's a whole lot easier than 50-50.
Max, go ahead, man.
Yeah, my name's Max. I'm new to the Bourbon Roundtable. Been a long time listener. I'm very happy to be here. I run Superfly Bourbon Club with my one of my real good buddies out in California. I'm in Florida, so we try to give both perspectives of it. You can find us at superflybourbonclub.com. It's a recently launched website, so bear with us a little bit. Instagram is Superfly Bourbon Club. Facebook is also relatively new. We started on Instagram, but Facebook is also Superfly Bourbon Club. Also, the Tampa Bay Whiskey Society. If you're in the Tampa Bay area, make sure you check out Gasper's Liquor Shop. We've got some really, really good store picks through them. This Russell's Reserve I'm having right now is amazing. All in all, we're just some regular guys drinking bourbon, telling you what we think about it. So check us out.
Awesome.
I gotta say, I really like the name too.
It's an old nickname. I was that kid in freshman year of high school. They were like, "Is your name Matthew and you want to be called Matt? Just let us know." And I was like, "Oh, my name's Max. I want you to call me Superfly." And that teacher actually really called me Superfly for like 10 years. Like after high school, she added me on Facebook. She's like, "Oh my gosh, you," and I just embraced it.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
It's plus, it just sounds cool. Don't lie, it's cool.
It sounds good.
Those headphones.
Well, once again, cheers. Very happy to be here with you guys. It was an awesome evening.
Thank you for stepping in,
Glad
Max.
to
I
have you.
appreciate it.
Yeah, and we'll start a Patreon for Carrie at Suburbia to
for his plumbing issues.
to repair his basement flooding.
Yeah, if anybody does any flooding damage or Serve Pro franchise, go ahead and give Carrie a call.
Yeah, he'd appreciate it.
Yeah, he'll probably trade you some bourbon for some services.
Yeah. If you have a big shop vac that can suck a lot of water out.
But yeah, so I want to say thank you again, guys. For coming on here. Thank you everybody that joined the chat tonight. I was kind of really flustered, so I didn't get a really chance to bring on a whole lot of questions that people were having in the chat. So I did my best. Next time, I promise I'll be able to bring a few more people from the chat into here. Also, as you've seen, that Max actually came on tonight. So who knows if somebody else has to bail on us next time, then we're gonna call in another relief. So if I put the bat signal out in the bird pursuit signal in the air, make sure you're the first one to be able to respond back.
Yeah, you better beat me to it, you listeners out there, because I'm quick.
You listen quick.
Get under 4 minutes. It's like
Kenny did not say this was a one-time thing, so you guys got to beat me. You got to subscribe to Bourbon Pursuit. Don't just follow them. Click subscribe so it goes to the top of your feed.
Oh man, now he's really selling it.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh god.
Hey, I'm just telling you the secrets of the game.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna sit back and let him keep plugging.
Yeah, I know, right?
Hey, I got me here, so whatever.
That's the best free press we could ask for right there.
Yeah. No,
so
truly, I
so
want to
with
give a shout out to all the listeners for all the great feedback they gave us on the the giveaway, all the comment suggestions. They were some great, that was a great barrel we picked. I can't tell you how it tastes because I don't remember, but I'm sure it's good. But we got a lot of great ideas from that, and I'm excited. Hopefully we can execute some of those for you guys.
Yeah, there were definitely some tough ones on there that I don't know how we're going to get to. That's what we had multiple people that said, "Can you think you can get Fred No and Jimmy Russell or Eddie Russell like on the same podcast?" And I was like, no, like that's a scheduling nightmare. That would never happen. So.
Yeah, next Eclipse.
Yeah. 8 years or 7 years.
Don't make me do math.
Yeah, but with that, I want to say thank you again, fellas. Make sure you subscribe to everything Bourbon Pursuit on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We still have that contest going on for Russell's. It'll end on, this will air Thursday. So it'll end Friday. So Friday at 5:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when it will end. So get those comments in there and get yourself entered for it. So with that, you can also support the show by helping us on Patreon, patreon.com/Bourbon Pursuit. We got a lot of cool giveaways on there, as well as the guys from Breaking Bourbon. So make sure you go support them too. And once Blake realizes how much money we're raking off this, he's going to start Patreon campaign. I'm just kidding. It's not that much money. There's no money to be made in bourbon. We all know that so far.
No, just stuff in envelopes.
Yeah, just a lot of envelopes. All right, with that, we'll see you all next week. All right, perfect. All right, whew. That's gonna be a heavy editing job.
Yeah,
I gotta cut out the new guy, right?
Not
No,
I
mean,
jealous of you having to go through that one.
It's between my internet going out, Carrie bailing for water issues.
Seriously,
my dog barking in the background through half of the.
Yes. It sounds like he's
Always
asleep
something
now.
with Blake.
Yeah, I just like to be the problem child of the entire thing.
The
Actually,
reef
I'm
is
like,
still looking good though.
The reef is strong.
It does look good. It looks
added,
better because it's an HD wreath now. I can see the individual needles of the pine. It's really set off, man. That's beautiful.
We added a silver tea kettle set, and some other things. Oh yeah, we're getting fancy. We are getting fancy.
You go antiquing or something?
Yeah,
I think the Booker's is gone too. Wasn't there a Booker's back there for a while?
Yeah, it was. It got moved to over there.
The wife made you relocate it. I know the feeling.
Yeah, we got a new dining room table, so all my stuff got moved around, and now she's staring at me. Said it's boxwood.
And your wife's
Oh, we can hear her now.
Uh-oh.
Get her the frame of the camera, and then she can really tell the whole world. How
she can tell us how she feels about your hobby.
It's 1080, so you can probably see her at that point. Yeah. No, she's really just eyeing me down because Bachelor in Paradise is already off. So she's like, "Can we start it now?" You know, the Bourbon Roundtable's over. Can we start Bachelor in Paradise?
Because I know that's really what you were waiting for, weren't you?
I'm not gonna lie. I love trashy television. There are a few things in life that, like what do you call it?
Guilty pleasure.
Guilty pleasure. Oh, trashy television all day long for me. Like, give me Bachelor, Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise. I am there.
You love the Kardashians. Don't lie, Blake.
I don't go that far. That's where I draw the line. I can draw the line at the Kardashians.
Blind date.
As long as you have a line somewhere, you're good.
Yeah. Actually, I'm all hopped up on Benadryl right now, so I'm probably just going to pass out. I got poison ivy over the weekend, and like
Florida, man.
I actually took a nap before we started because I took some when I got home and it was just like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to stay awake till 9 o'clock. So,
I'm glad you were able to make it. It would have been a really small roundtable discussion.
My eyelids are just getting heavier and heavier as the seconds go by. I don't think you're supposed to drink on Benadryl either. I think that's one of the stipulations. But
I mean, that's just what they say.
That's
just suggestions.
All right, I'm gonna get out of here. Enjoy it, guys.
Yeah, that was
good to have you.
Go for it.
Thanks, Blake.
Yeah, that was actually. Yeah, thanks, Blake. Yeah, that was actually another suggestion that somebody put on one of the comments. Was talk about why bourbon was issued during Prohibition as a medicinal thing, and I was like, I don't know.
Who knows the answer to that question? I was like, that's a hard question.
Exactly.
Yeah, who's allowed?
There's a lot of people. Yeah, there's a lot of people that ask questions like in regards to history, and that's actually a tough one to get any guests on that know history. We've asked Mike Vicha a few times, at least twice, and we've been told
to pay him.
Yeah, we've been told twice that he won't come on unless he gets paid. So,
geez.
Mike Veach is not going to be on the show probably ever. So,
wait, hold on. You mean I'm not getting paid for this?
Oh, your check will come in the mail.
All right. I'll be expecting it.
Just keep waiting by the mailbox. Check the mailbox.
Every day. Hopefully it doesn't get lost.
Yeah, hopefully it comes on a Sunday, right?
Is Mike your brother or something?
Say again?
It said, is Mike your brother or something? Mike Christie that's in the chat?
Oh, it's actually my father. My father is Mike Christie. My best friend is also named Mike. He's Michael Inglima. Him and I used to live like right next to each other in Southern California. So we kind of like had that like bourbon epiphany together when we were 21 or 22 and started drinking bourbon and why are we drinking vodka? We kind of did that whole thing. And then, we moved apart. So now he's in San Francisco area. I'm in the Tampa Bay area. So we do a lot of shipping back and forth and so on and so forth. I get bookers out here like months and months before he does. Like I got 2000.
really?
He got 2017-1. I'm like, oh, bro, I just got 2017-2. Like you're behind. So we do a lot of shipping back and forth, keep each other in the loop.
Mm-hmm. Buying all these bookers that are dropping every single one.
I mean,
is that your guilty pleasure?
I hate to say it because we all have our gripes with Beam
beating the price increase.
But I was a big fan of 17-2. 17-1 was okay for me. It wasn't anything to write home about. It was good. I do really like bookers. That is a guilty pleasure of mine. But 2017-2, I really enjoyed. I thought that was hand over fist better than 17-1 and most of 2016. I thought that one was great. I just bought a bottle of the B96 C15, the Rest in Peace Booker No bottle.
Oh, which year was that one?
2004.
2004,
the
yeah.
Death bottle.
I remember that. Yeah, that you don't really see that one. I'm not even asking you to pay for that one, but yeah,
well, it's actually a little known secret I'm going to share here. Is they put out about 29. I actually found out, there's 2,900 bottles that went in the commemorative box and bottle. Those are, as you know, $800 to $1,000 on the gray market. But they ran out of boxes and bottles. So there's actually a whole bunch that are the exact same batch, the exact same juice, but not in the fancy box. And those are only $200 or $300 on the gray market. And it's literally the exact. You can hold the two bottles side by side. It's got the same proof information, the same batch information. It just doesn't have that collectible bottle that looks really nice on your shelf.
Oh, well, then, yeah, fuck it. I don't even
who buys that shit?
Yeah, I don't even want it anymore, right? God.
That's for my uncle.
You think I do this? You think I do this for myself? No, this is for show, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's I'm excited to get that one. I own it, but it's not in my hands yet. I'm sure you know how that goes. You got to wait for those nail-biting shipping days.
But
check tracking every day at work to make sure I don't have any flags.
Oh man. Speaking of shipping, make sure everybody starts using UPS now.
Why? Why is that?
Well,
is that a real thing or is that a joke? Because I'm a FedExer, so don't mess with me.
It's we actually have a new sponsor coming to the show, and it's the UPS store. So starting in September, the UPS store will be advertising on the podcast.
That's not like questionable from UPS's perspective.
That's pretty funny, yeah, that they are.
That's literally like that's hilarious to me.
But it's for their stores to buy their franchises.
Yeah, you would buy a franchise. Yeah, not to just like start shipping with them.
Yeah, no, that's illegal. Don't do
franchise
that.
A store. Absolutely not. And you don't use FedEx. You were just talking about like actually walking it all the way back and forth between the coasts, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He just goes to Kinko's stores.
I drive all the time.
Make copies.
Mm-hmm. I email it.
Oh man,
it's 2017, man.
Let's see. Carrie just put something in our chat there, but it says "do not share." So
do not share, please.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like, what are you saying? Do not share.
Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. Am I in that chat?
Oh, no.
Oh God.
Oh, I don't see that.
It's actually a picture of his basement that's flooded right now. So.
Oh my God, dude, Carrie, I feel you. I literally have
I've been there.
Like I had to sell a bunch of my collection recently because I mean, it's not my basement, but I'm in a very similar position in my kitchen. I had to come up with a deductible. I was walking bottles to many. Oh, there he is.
Hey.
There's Carrie right there.
So,
dude, I feel your pain. I've been there.
Dude, tell us about it.
Wife would kill me. So I heard the wife screaming something, and went running upstairs. And the washing machine. We're renovating our kitchen, and the washing machine was leaking, which was half bad. And I just heard this noise, and it sounded like it was hitting a drain in the kitchen, which used to be air conditioning, and they moved it because they're making a big window. And so I could hear water dropping down the drain. I was like, oh, shit. And that's when I ran back downstairs, and I went back, and it was raining in my basement, like in the back part of the basement with all of our cardboard boxes and all of our, crap not crap, but, all the stuff that we want to save.
Like Halloween and Christmas decorations.
So no bourbon down there, right? No bourbon?
No, it's all packed up. But
right.
so, and then we began to move stuff and saw that the whole basement is just covered in water right now. So we had to take
God, dude.
outside and turn on a bunch of fans and open doors, and it's a mess. But it's all good, man.
Carrie, I was literally 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was right there with you. My kitchen I had the fans going. I had some pipe in the wall burst. I had to go to my bunker and sell a bunch of shit to pay the deductible. Like, I feel it, man.
Touching the bunker. I was trying to. Did you guys talk about this, by the way?
But we did not.
Yeah, I didn't. No, we didn't.
A sample.
I didn't get. We don't get a sample.
Tell us about it.
It's really good. It's so it's this year's Parker's. It's 11-year.
You might have to send out an email.
It's from what's that? The Rick House that everybody likes.
It's in Deetsville.
Yeah, it's a Deetsville.
Deetsville, yeah.
What's the proof on it? I think it's barrel proof. It's in the notes, but it's really good. It's really, really good. It reminds me of Promise of Hope.
The 24?
No.
Oh, no. The 24. The Promise of Hope's the old one. My bad.
It reminds me of that. It's really, really good.
That's Promise of Hope right there. So this was only 96 proof.
That's a few years back, right?
3 or 4, something like that.
Yeah, that was one. I just can't get that where I'm at, so I just gave up on that one.
122 proof and really, really solid.
I'm hoping there's going to be a good amount of that coming out because I really like Parker's. I know you really like the Carry, but I thought the 24-year, the last one that came out, was just dog shit. But that's just
I thought it tastes like Band-Aids.
Wife's going to check out the damage.
Carrie loves Band-Aids, so
I do love Band-Aids. I love the taste of them. I love Blood Oath. I love all the Band-Aids out there.
Hey, say what you will about Blood Oath 1 and 2, but Blood Oath 3 is not bad.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, it's not terrible.
That's still pretty good. I reviewed that one live. Remember I did First Taste live on
I was there. Yeah. I liked 1, or I did not like 1 or 2, but 3, I don't know. That one was better than most.
It's the most,
like you said, I hate a 24-year, so to each their own.
Really, I love the 24-year.
I did not like
24 years bad.
I only got a sample though. I didn't have the whole bottle. I just had a sample, so I could, that could be skewed in translation.
I like that older, sweeter oaky taste from Heaven Hill. I like their Elijah Craig 23. I like the pre-fire Heaven Hill Select stock they did.
Oh, that was amazing.
I'm trying to find some of the weeded Select stock they put out. It was like 8 or 9 years finished in cognac barrels. I've been looking for that one lately. I can't find it.
I actually have that. You want a sample? I got that.
I would love a sample if you have that.
Yeah, I have the Heaven Hill Select stock, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I'll trade you. I'll send you some of that stuff you hate.
Yeah, I can't remember how many times I passed on that bottle.
Which one?
The cognac finish one.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for weeded, and I'm a sucker for cognac, rum, brandy, those kind of profiles. I just want to know what it tastes like. Like, I just need to know. It's FOMO, like we've been saying. It's FOMO.
Yeah, FOMO.
Wait, hold on, you got to talk, man. I can't see it. Hold on. Let me click on your thing. Yep, that's it.
Yeah,
that's it, Carrie.
All right, well, let me just make sure it's still good.
Yeah, quality control.
As I say, you deserve a drink after all that shit you've been going through for the past hour. So
take 2.
All right, fellas, we'll holler at you next time. Next time around.
Yep. See you later.
Make sure we're dry.
Hey, good luck with the plumbing issues, man. I feel you. It's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, it's good times. Take care, guys.
All right. See you, bud.
Yeah, see you. Yeah, you know what? We've kind of didn't talk about that earlier. Like, people are talking about. So Jeremy just said, like, just reading Blood Oath reviews is entertaining. Like, what if like Amazon or Walmart could be a distributor, and then you get to see like all the reviews for things like Blood Oath.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize we were still live.
But
it kind of reminds me of like,
hey guys,
TripAdvisor of this hotel. This hotel we stayed at in Fort Lauderdale. I can't even think of the name of it. The Lafayette Motor Lodge. It's the shittiest hotel, but I went back on TripAdvisor and read the reviews, and they are so funny.
Yeah, I remember them.
There used to be bed bugs.
Yeah, the teardrop tattoo right here. Man alive.
Yeah. They're like, there used to be bed bugs, but all the cockroaches ate them.
Oh man! All right, I got to drop off. I got 5% battery.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I need one more drink, and then I got to hit the hay. I got work in the morning. I'm on Florida time, so I'm a couple of actually. Who am I kidding?
No,
10:30. It's not that late.
We're all East Coast, man. You're good.
Yeah.
No Eastern. All right, guys.
All right.
Have a good one.
Hey, real quick. Yeah, Ryan, Kenny, I really appreciate being here. Like I said, I'm a longtime listener. I've listened to literally every single episode. I
appreciate it.
I love it. I love being here. If you guys ever need another alternate, I'll probably be the first one to comment, so it'll be just fine.
Fair enough. Right. You did well. So
sounds good. Yeah, you did really well too. So I appreciate it.
All right, awesome. Hey, well, you guys have a good night. Be safe.
All right, you too. Man.
All right, thank you. All right, everybody take care, and everybody take care on the chat as well. So
yeah,
see y'all later.
All right.